Gunung Padang. Perhaps the oldest pyramid in the world hidden beneath the dense foliage of West Java, Indonesia, lies Gunung Padang, a mysterious megalithic site that may rewrite human history. Unlike the iconic pyramids of Egypt, approximately 4,600 years old, or the towering ziggurats of Mesopotamia, Gunung Padang does not immediately strike the observer as a monumental structure. Instead, it appears as a terraced hill covered in ancient stone columns, but beneath its surface evidence suggests a vast man-made pyramid dating back potentially 20,000 years or more, to an era long before conventional archaeology acknowledges advanced civilizations. If confirmed, Gunung Padang could be the oldest pyramid in the world, predating Egypt's Great Pyramid by more than 15,000 years and even challenging the age of Göbekli Tepe, approximately 11,600 years old, the famed Neolithic sanctuary in Turkey. This documentary-style exploration delves into the site's structure, its possible origins, and how it compares to other ancient wonders. Gunung Padang was first documented by Dutch colonists in 1914, just over a century ago, who noted its unusual arrangement of basaltic columns. Locals had long considered it sacred, referring to it as the Mountain of Enlightenment. Early archaeologists classified it as a megalithic terrace complex, possibly used for rituals or astronomical observations. However, recent investigations using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, seismic tomography and core drilling have revealed something far more extraordinary. A multi-layered man-made pyramid buried beneath the surface. Gunung Padang is not a natural hill, but a carefully constructed pyramid composed of multiple layers. The visible part consists of 5-step terraces made of columnar basalt, arranged in a precise geometric pattern. These stones, formed by ancient volcanic activity, were deliberately shaped and placed, suggesting advanced stoneworking techniques. Beneath the terraces lies a second layer of similar rock columns, but arranged differently, indicating an earlier phase of construction. Seismic imaging reveals a large, hollow chamber or network of tunnels at depths of 15-25 meters, filled with compacted stone and clay. The deepest layer consists of an even older foundation, possibly dating back over 20,000 years, making it contemporary with the last ice age, based on controversial carbon dating of organic material trapped within the mortar. The builders of Gunung Padang used locally sourced volcanic rock, primarily andesite and basalt, shaped into prismatic columns. Unlike the cut-and-stack method of Egyptian pyramids developed about 4,600 years ago, Gunung Padang's construction appears to have involved natural columnar jointing, where cooled lava fractures into hexagonal or pentagonal columns which were then manually arranged. A primitive yet effective mortar made from clay and other organic materials held the stones in place. The entire structure follows a deliberate step-like design, possibly for stability against earthquakes, which are common in Indonesia. The visible part of Gunung Padang rises about 100 meters or 328 feet above the surrounding terrain. Its base area is estimated at 150,000 square meters or 37 acres, making it potentially larger than Egypt's Great Pyramid in footprint. The terraces face northwest, possibly aligned with astronomical events like solstices or specific stars. To understand Gunung Padang's significance, we must compare it to other ancient pyramidal structures worldwide. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built around 2560 BCE, approximately 4,600 years ago, stands 146 meters tall and was constructed using precisely cut limestone and granite blocks. The Egyptians employed quarrying, transporting and stacking techniques with remarkable precision, primarily for tombs with religious and astronomical significance. In contrast, Gunung Padang, if dating back to 20, 000 plus BCE, potentially 22,000 years old, would be nearly 5 times older and built with different techniques, using natural columnar basalt rather than cut stone. Its purpose remains unclear, but may have been ceremonial or geospiritual rather than funerary. The Meroe pyramids of Sudan are smaller and steeper than Egyptian ones, built as tombs for Kushite kings from sandstone blocks about 2,300–2,800 years ago. Gunung Padang predates these by at least 17,000 years and lacks burial chambers, suggesting a non-funerary function. Göbekli Tepe consists of a series of circular enclosures with T-shaped pillars carved with animal reliefs, likely serving as a ritual site for hunter-gatherers about 11,600 years ago. Both sites challenge the notion that advanced construction only emerged with agriculture. However, Gunung Padang's pyramid-like layering suggests even earlier large-scale engineering, possibly nearly twice as old as Göbekli Tepe. Mesoamerican pyramids, such as those at Teotihuacan, were constructed from adobe and stone about 1,600–1,900 years ago, often functioning as religious and ceremonial centres. Gunung Padang's terraces resemble Mesoamerican step pyramids, but its antiquity suggests a much earlier origin for such designs, potentially 20 times older than these American structures. If Gunung Padang is indeed a 20,000-plus-year-old pyramid, it forces a re-evaluation of prehistoric human civilization. But if this is the case, the question remains, who were the original builders of Gunung Padang? What are the prevailing theories? During the last glacial maximum approximately 20,000 years ago, when sea levels were about 120 metres lower than present day, the exposed continental shelf of Sundaland created a vast, fertile landscape connecting modern Indonesia, Malaysia and Borneo. Some researchers propose that an advanced maritime culture flourished across this now submerged territory before being displaced by rising sea levels at the end of the Ice Age around 11,700 years ago. The sophisticated engineering evident at Gunung Padang suggests this civilization possessed organized labor systems, advanced construction knowledge, and potentially even astronomical understanding, as demonstrated by the site's precise alignment with solstices, a characteristic shared by many later megalithic cultures. Modern genetic studies of indigenous Indonesian populations like the Dayak and Mentawai reveal ancient haplogroups that trace back to early human migrations through Sundaland, potentially linking these groups to distant cultural descendants of Gunung Padang's builders. This connection finds further support in the megalithic traditions preserved on Nias Island and Sulawesi, where standing stones and terraced structures dating from 1,500 to 2,000 years ago echo the architectural principles seen at Gunung Padang, suggesting a remarkable cultural continuity spanning millennia. An alternative theory posits that Gunung Padang may have been constructed by the ancestors of the Austronesian peoples, renowned for their later seafaring migrations across the Pacific and Indian Oceans. While Austronesian expansion is traditionally dated to 4,000, 5,000 years ago from Taiwan, their cultural roots may extend much deeper into the Sundaland region. Linguistic evidence from the widespread Austronesian language family, which includes Malay, Polynesian and Malagasy, preserves vocabulary related to stone construction and celestial navigation that hints at an ancient tradition of megalith building. If Gunung Padang's builders were indeed Proto-Austronesians, their descendants may have carried architectural concepts across the Pacific, potentially influencing later structures like Nan Madol in Micronesia, 1,000 years old, and even Easter Island's famous Moai. Recent analyses of ancient DNA from Southeast Asia suggest that early Homo sapiens populations in the region, the ancestors of modern Austronesian speakers had already developed complex societal structures by 20,000 years ago, making them plausible candidates for Gunung Padang's construction. A more speculative hypothesis suggests Gunung Padang might represent the architectural achievement of a now extinct human species, such as the Denisovans, who coexisted with Homo sapiens in Southeast Asia until approximately 30,000 years ago. Fossil evidence confirms Denisovan presence in Indonesia, and modern Papuan populations retain up to 5% Denisovan DNA in their genetic makeup. While Denisovans were likely less technologically advanced than Homo sapiens, their demonstrated ability to create tools and ornamental objects, as evidenced by artifacts found in Siberian caves, indicates at least some capacity for symbolic thought and cultural complexity. Most mainstream archaeologists remain skeptical of this theory, as no current evidence directly links Denisovans to large-scale construction projects. However, should future excavations at Gunung Padang uncover hominin remains belonging to non-sapient species, this controversial theory may warrant serious reconsideration. The potential discovery of such evidence would fundamentally reshape our understanding of human cultural development and the capabilities of our ancient relatives. This is where the imagination can take a ride as we posit on possible purposes of the Gunung Padang site. The site may have functioned as an astronomical observatory, given its alignments with solstices. Alternatively, it could have been a geo-spiritual site, with the mountain itself considered sacred and the pyramid amplifying its energy. Some researchers propose underground water channels creating resonance, though this remains speculative. More fringe theories suggest advanced acoustics or energy manipulation, though no direct evidence supports these claims. The pyramid's layers may have been deliberately covered by sediment after a natural disaster, such as a comet impact linked to the Younger Dryas period about 12,811,600 years ago. Indonesia's volcanic activity could have both destroyed and preserved parts of the structure over millennia. Despite compelling evidence, Gunung Padang remains controversial. Some geologists argue the deeper layers are natural rock formations rather than man-made. Indonesian officials have pushed for recognition, leading to accusations of nationalistic bias. Mainstream archaeologists demand more peer-reviewed studies before accepting its age, emphasizing the need for rigorous scientific validation of the claim that it could be 20,000 years old, which would make it by far the oldest known megalithic structure on Earth. Dr. Meralli, in his paper, Challenging Depositional Integrity and Taphonomic Bias, a Geoarchaeological Empirical Reassessment of Anthropogenic Occupation versus Geological Formation Chronologies at Gunung Padang, demonstrates that although there was late Holocene occupation and usage of the site, this dates to 3,000 years ago, and that the early formation of the sites are a result of geological formations rather than anthropogenic occupation. Irrespective of the current academic opinion, Gunung Padang stands as one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. If its deepest layers are indeed artificial and date back 20,000 years, it would mean that an advanced civilization capable of monumental construction existed at the end of the last ice age, more than 15,000 years before Sumer, Egypt or Mesopotamia emerged. Whether a pyramid, a terraced temple or something else entirely, Gunung Padang forces us to reconsider the timeline of human achievement. Future excavations and advanced technologies like LIDAR and 3D mapping may finally unveil its secrets, potentially rewriting history as we know it. For now, Gunung Padang remains an enigmatic testament to humanity's forgotten past, a silent ancient giant waiting to be fully understood, potentially holding clues to civilizations that thrived when much of humanity was still in the Stone Age.